Development is a long-term process, and it's one that needs to continually be operating in the background.
It takes such a broad scope of skill sets with respect to sailing one of these boats.
Can they make this final mark?
We will always be driven by short-term performance, but we can never let go of the longer-term development.
I think a lot of it comes down to how much do you want it.
So we need to keep having one eye on the future and always putting energy into developing the team.
And how much work are you willing to put in to achieve your goals?
After Portsmouth, kind of the team mentality was, I would say, just in general frustrated.
They look a little late on board Canada. NorthStar Canada are having a shocker today.
You know, we had a pretty bit of a shocker on Saturday.
But we felt like we had a good bounce back on the Sunday.
Perfect from NorthStar Canada out the middle, and they're going to be able to drop the hammer from here.
Minus the incident we had with the Danes, Brits, Aussies. Which we very much sort of felt that we got the short end of the stick on that one.
That was a black flag incident. We almost cut a boat in half there.
But I guess that's racing.
But I think the team just left hungry and frustrated. We still do have a lot to work on.
We'd weathered the storm, we'd figured out what we needed to sort of fix, and sort of spirits were high coming into Germany here. So we were sort of ready to get out on the water and attack the race course.
So in the league, it's really unique in that you don't get a lot of practice days, but here in Sassnitz, we were able to have a little bit of extra time on the water.
To be able to work through some of the maneuvers that we felt like we needed to work on, and then try some new things as well, which was really nice. It's very rare we get sort of a day with no real pressure on it to be able to go out and train.
You know, that time is so valuable.
And it's been good. The conditions have been good to get quite a big range.
You rolling?
Yeah, on your mark.
Some of these questions might be a bit different given what's going on in your life, but can you just give me an insight, like sit rep right now in the team in Canada, what's your personal ambition?
You know, my personal ambition is I want to drive a boat one day. I've always been a driver, like Olympic sailing, growing up sailing. I've always been a driver, and I still have that ambition, but sailing is a really unique sport that gender doesn't matter. You know, Mother Nature doesn't know if you're a boy or girl. It's all about who's performing best on the water. I do just think it's a matter of getting time on the water for me. Like, I think it's dedicating the time and everybody kind of aligning to that vision for me to be able to drive.
Perfect answer, thank you so much.
We are investing time. We're investing time to upskilling people in different roles. You know, like there's only a few sailors like in Canada that can do these positions, and so taking the time to upskilling people like that are on the boat, and then also the upcoming generation is going to be absolutely super critical.
Doing the rudder.
We have quite a few things to get through today. We are putting Annie on the wheel for a good stint today. We're getting Bleds to have a go at piloting. Then we're getting into the race crew training, which is going to be practice racing and some soft laps. We've got a good list of things to get through. Should be a good day, as long as the wind comes up a bit.
I mean, it is a decision that you have to weigh, right? Like, with the limited time we have, do we take the race team out and kind of push the race team, or do we spend the time to develop like the next generation and kind of the other athletes on the team? And yeah, Thursday we were able to do that, which I think like it's really setting up our foundation for long term. Unfortunately, it was a little bit light in the morning, but I had the opportunity to do some driving on board. Driving for me is obviously an upskill. I would actually say it's more of maybe a bit of a diversification because I do quite a bit of driving in my strategist role, but you know, just having time on the wheel will help me with my exiting maneuvers and roundups and kind of the level 2 type of maneuvers that we do on the race course. That's where we kind of saw the most value in our time was trying to get us up on the foils and having me steer the maneuver. So for me, really invaluable. You know, it was the first time I got to do flight when the flight controller was crossing. We were able to kind of upskill both Bledin and I at the same time. So having me drive while Bledin was flying the boat. Once again, these boats are just, time is such a limited resource. And so just for me to have the time to be able to do that was, I don't know, is really invaluable.
Annie's on. Bled's is on. We wouldn't normally swap like that, but gives Bled's an easier time at that.
So, you know, it's one thing to be able to drive the boat, and oftentimes, you know, like speed comes from the wing trimmer and the flight controller. But it's another thing to be able to drive the boat, be able to play the controls on the wheel, be able to, you know, make sure that the boat's stable going in through maneuvers, and being able to kind of like own the boat through those different scenarios was, you know, something I've never been able to be privy to.
You know, we get so little time training on the water. It's not like Olympic sailing or other sailing when you can just go out sailing whenever you want.
I was notorious for being the first down in the boat park and the first one out in the water. Like, you get to the boat park, you put your boats right in the ramp so you can be the first in the water. And then for me, that was a confidence builder because I got time in the water. I like was working harder than everybody else. But here, it's not that simple, right? You can't just like roll your dinghy down and put it at the front of the dock. It takes an army to put these things together. They're super complicated machines. And yeah, it's just a completely different ballgame. So any time that you can take to be able to spend time on the boat and be able to drive or be able to upskill yourself is like, it's everything in this league.
As important as it is for us to really sort of put the hours in with the racing squad, we need to have the development side of it sorted out as well and bringing up the next generation.
As a team, we have to have one eye on the long term because the development of people into the team is a long-term process.
To make sure that we're bringing up the next generation so that we have depth in the squad so that if someone can't make it or someone gets hurt, that there's that next man up or next lady up mentality.
So we're starting to look at bringing an extra female sailor involved, and we want that because actually we need a spare if we have a short-term problem. But also it's having that eye in the future and starting to integrate them into understanding the boats, understanding the different roles, us seeing where they might fit in.
One other aspect of bringing up the next generation and that pipeline of athletes for the team is our mentorship program that we've started. Everybody on the team has really taken that to heart with an aim at getting more female engagement within the sport and within the team as well, because a member of the team has basically taken on a mentee over the summer.
What this mentor program does is it really just shows the team's commitment to upskilling the country in general in the sailing capacity, whether that be on the water, whether that be managerial, whether that be kind of anything to do with the sport. Like, we are committed to raising the level in Canada. And it's an incredible honor to be able to help there. And it's something that we're all really passionate about, right? Like, we all are really good at what we do and want to share the knowledge.
Antonia is my mentee, so I've been doing a few sort of sessions with her online over the last few months. She's sailing her FX, sailing it very well. And it's been really great to have her join us for these 4 days.
I was lucky enough to have Joe Planfield as my mentor, and I've really, really appreciated meeting with him and hearing what he has to say. Such a huge resource of knowledge. Really successful sailor himself and such a successful coach in the Olympic circuit and this circuit as well. I was just blown away, and I'm constantly taking in what he's saying. I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to come here this weekend and actually be with the team in person and meet with my mentor in person too.
Oh, it is so awesome to have Antonia here. I mean, we need some girl energy. So it's been incredible having her here. I mean, they have been absolutely killing it in the 49er circuit. And they have been, you know, we're all watching from Canada, just like cheering them on.
Well, what an experience to go to our first Olympics and to qualify for that. We had quite a really crazy lead up to that, qualifying at the Worlds in 2024, where we automatically qualified. And unfortunately, Marseille was a really tricky place to sail, and we finished 11th, which was a bit of a punch in the gut, but we're back fighting for LA and excited to do that.
Tony is great. She brings lots of energy. She's really straightforward to have around and really positive, and just wants to take an interest, wants to get stuck in. And then I think you just being on the rib, you'll pick up, and sitting in on the briefing, you'll pick up things that are value that help you reconnect with it all and remind you what it's all about. But yeah, so today I think we've got about 45 minutes of sailing before the racing.
If you also feel like it's a really tricky day and the warm-up isn't like you want more time warming up and it's not worth putting in.
Yeah.
Like, I will not be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Cool.
I just want to say that.
We'll try to get you on, but
Nice.
Okay. It's not Tony's first kick at the can with us here. She was with us in Chicago in our first season.
When Georgia and I were first starting out in FX, I had a knee injury, and Georgia had the opportunity to start sailing with this brand new team. She told me so many great things about the team while I was on the couch recovering from meniscus surgery. And eventually, when I was back healthy again, Georgia and I both had the opportunity to go to Chicago in 2022. It was wild. I was on the rib and the F50 capsized on top, and all of a sudden it was like immediately being thrown into the deep end. Absolutely crazy. Like all of a sudden everyone's just flat out trying to figure out, oh my God, what do we do?
I didn't realize it would go that way. It's just like little things that you don't even...
Yeah, what an experience. I think that the gift of perspective is quite strong. I love to be back here in seeing the new team and just how the team's grown. And it seems like it's been a really positive change.
It's great to have Tony back. We love both of the Lou and LaFrance sisters are an integral part of this team and have been an integral part of this team for quite a long time. And it's great to have a Lou and LaFrance smiling face around the base.
So it's awesome to, be able to see her. I haven't seen her in a couple, since Halifax. It's a very mutual, beneficial relationship to have her here. And
Georgia.
How you going? Yeah, look.
Oh, she got a win.
Oh, look at that.
Georgia's legend lives on.
Look at that. Oh, good.
You know what? I raised her. She's my little sister.
You raised her. So all her bad behavior was attributed to
your explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
You don't take ownership of that anymore.
I actually got the opportunity to be in the G1 position for a little bit, where I have a whole new perspective on what it is to be a grinder on these boats.
The one thing I will say, I can't get out, but you should practice the getting out. Oh yeah, you're leaving. Just kidding. Not even a problem. Okay, so forward for you will be hardest. If you're struggling to go forward, try that way. Okay, gonna go to the other side, practice jump. Yeah.
We got Antonia with us today, which is great. She's come and said hello to us in a gap in her FX campaigning. Wind looks good for it. She's going to be in G1, spinning some handles. Hope she enjoys it.
No, I'm feeling okay. Super nice to be here. Yeah, super nice. My lungs feel like they're bleeding right now. It's been, you just have a new appreciation for how much work those grinders do. But whoa, that was, when the spray comes, you're like, okay, we're sailing. This is so sick. What a cool boat. And the G-force and the maneuvers, you're just like, bam, flatten immediately.
I have to say that compared to my last time sailing these boats back in Chicago, it was just such a special thing.
It felt like there was always power, there's enough wind for it to always be powerful. But it's just, the more times you sail a boat, the more it feels like a boat.
Awesome to have two girls on board. I cannot stress this enough that that's a huge moment, and right after she was done, I just went up and slapped her right on the back, because I mean it's not an easy thing to step into. It's a pretty intimidating environment, so just to have her on board, it's absolutely incredible. It made me have goosebumps a little bit of what the future could hold and where we can go with it.
My God, it felt just so responsive and happy, and the team sails it so confidently through the water and the ships. It's magic. What a privilege.
But huge smiling faces, and she just did an amazing job. The conditions were pretty full end, pretty top end, and Tony took like a champ, and she was just sort of right into it and slotted in perfectly.
I really wanted to grind more, and CJ was really nice about it, but sometimes you're trying. I hear you, CJ. I'm trying.
You know, I think that's always the case when we bring in these. They want to be a part of it and they want to be helpful, and it's always what the energy that you put into it, you always get back from them as well.
I am so grateful to be here.
We want to bring a big positive contribution to sailing in Canada, and we want to help develop new people, and it's important for our own team too anyway. All of us are prepared to put in time and energy to contribute towards that, but there's also a lot people can learn just from being in this environment and to joining the conversations about the sailing as well.
You know, we have this intern program, and obviously we're looking at upskilling people within the team, but there is that next generation coming up, and we're so grateful to have Andrew here. Like, it has been an absolute joy to have him here.
I'll talk about the world champion that's amongst the mere mortals today.
We're amongst greatness.
We're amongst greatness.
The young man standing behind you right now.
Right there, look at him.
Yeah, the only person on the boat that can tackle water.
I think it's the first time in our intern program that we actually reached out to somebody in Canada that had the skill set built up and asked them to come.
Andrew is the newly crowned under-19 WASP world champion. I will tell you, he's much better at sailing a WASP than I am.
But I started sailing when I was 6, and then my parents moved to Port Credit. So I sailed there at PCYC, and that's when I began racing when I was 11 in the Optimist. I learned from Fede, a really good coach, and then he kind of sparked that joy for racing. 3 years ago in 2022, I had this awesome opportunity to participate in the Canfoil Week, which was in Halifax, and they brought in the whole Canadian SailGP team, and we got to race with, like, against Phil and Billy and all these guys on the boat, and it was just awesome to see these professional sailors coming and foiling with us. And so that really sparked the, like, all right, I want to dial in, and I don't want to lose to Phil Robertson in a race. You know, I want to really keep working. And so over the next few years, I started sailing more the WASP, racing internationally, and just really fully committed to sailing. We did a ton of training at home at the Weekend Foil Hub in Kingston, went to the Worlds early, sailed with Weekend Foil and also European coach, and it was just awesome, you know, being able to represent my country and do well at a major world championship while being supported by everybody here, and Augustine at Weekend Foil was just like, it was incredible. At the Worlds, I finished the first junior and then 4th overall, which was, yeah, really beyond my expectations. I was super stoked for that and super.
I was so nervous going out sailing today, and just like, but I'm really thankful to everyone who helped me, and like Weekend Foil did so much. Ontario Sailing, my mental coach.
It was huge for me personally, you know, to show that to myself that I could work hard and you know, make something happen. And so that was huge for me.
Super happy to
you know, we noticed that and we made us want to come and invite him and be involved in this. But I don't think it stops there. Andrew essentially is 18 years old. He still can go and do a lot more within his own project, whether that's Olympic sailing or in other, carrying on his development in the WASP, that will develop him as a sailor and will help him prepare for SailGP if that's where his direction takes him.
That was just like huge for me personally to know that I had a chance to come here and learn from all these guys and, you know, work on an F50 every day. It's awesome to be surrounded by so much talent. You know, you look around this boat park and it's the best sailors in the whole world are here. It's incredible that there's a circuit and a professional league for sailing. So it's really something to aspire to.
I hope it makes people see that pathway being open and us knowing what's out there and what other Canadian sailors are doing.
Do you know what, he's approached this with such curiosity with every role. Do you know, like I've seen him talk to each individual sailor. I've seen him talk to, you know, Joe. I've seen him talk to Bleds, a data analyst. I've seen him talk to the shore team.
I ask a lot of dumb questions, but they always bring me an answer that makes sense and is in terms that I can understand. And so I've learned so much, and I'm so thankful to these guys for constantly, you know, helping me and showing me what it takes to be at this level.
I think that's one thing I always give advice to young sailors is, you know, like, be brave to take chances, but also be curious to learn more. And he's taking that approach like in spades, and he's setting himself up for success later.
An F50 and the racing we do is it's a big dinghy, you know, and for people to develop and show themselves as really strong racers in those smaller boats, you know, that is a good pathway to getting into SailGP.
Tim was giving me a couple lessons, and he was sharing that making relationships with everyone is really the key to finding success in a team like this. You know, everyone in this team is bringing value, and yeah, I would love to be on the team, obviously one day, but I think it's learning different ways that I can bring value eventually, and you know, working on myself as a sailor, I think what I'll really go back home focusing on.
The keenness and the approach that he's brought, you know, he's got his notebook out at the airport when I first meet him. Like, I think that inspires me and makes me want to push harder, because you see these guys coming up, next generation, and yeah, he's getting all the skills in place.
Every single person on this team that's currently a member of this team at some point is going to retire. And that's going to be an opportunity for all the young kids out there.
Right now, you know, people like Antonia, like Andrew, they're going to be able to, one day when slots open up, you know, like they're going to be able to just put in the work now to be able to make that transition a little bit smooth. Our commitment to the development of sailors across the country next year and next season, we're getting an additional female reserve athlete that will be at every event. And we thought, instead of just having one, let's rotate through and see if we can upskill like a broad group of females within the country, not only with on the water stuff, but also for the shore crew, and just try to upskill everybody in every capacity. I think, you know, having the depth and breadth of the talent within the country and maybe even being involved in the recruiting process really excites me. And yeah, I can't wait to have some more female energy on the base. It's gonna be awesome.
I love the team culture here. It inspires me personally in my FX campaign. Even though it's a smaller team, I'm still really inspired by how this team operates with so many moving pieces. Just the constant effort to bring new sailors on board and to develop the next generation of sailors in Canada. But to ask young sailors or sailors like myself, like to give those opportunities, they try everything to make sure that that's being developed in Canada.
And so I'm super grateful that the team has opened this first door for me. It allowed me to get to be around all the sailors and learn in this professional environment. And so I think I'll continue to try and help make doors open for myself whenever they do take those opportunities. I'm always excited to try and get on an F50 one day, but I know there's a lot more steps that it takes to get there. And I'm really happy that this first step seems to be on the right track.
Follow this team, look up to this team, because it's phenomenal. And I personally feel so lucky that Canada has a SailGP team, and not just any team, a team that performs and a team that pushes itself. And I think it sets a phenomenal example for youngsters.